The day was Monday, May 26, 2025. Sunlight baked the ruins of Gaza City. Then the sky screamed. An Israeli airstrike. It hit a school, a place meant for safety, a sanctuary for the displaced. Now it was a scene of carnage. Dust and blood mingled. Hope was extinguished in an instant. The dead lay among the rubble. At least 30 souls were lost. Many were women, many were children. They had names, they had dreams. They sought refuge from the relentless war. Instead they found a fiery grave. Their lives reduced to statistics. Another tally in a brutal conflict. The innocents obliterated. Israel's military offered its version. The school, they claimed, was a nest. Hamas militants, Islamic Jihad fighters, planning attacks from within its walls. This was their justification. A familiar refrain in a long bitter war. The same words used many times before. But the dead could not speak. They could not refute the official story. Their silence was a heavy accusation. Survivors told a different tale. Medics on the ground echoed them. There were no fighters, they insisted, only terrified families. They were desperate for food. They were desperate for water. They were sheltering from the bombs. They were civilians. Their only crime was being alive, in a place marked for destruction. The aftermath was a vision of hell. Images flickered across screens worldwide. Burned bodies, limbs torn, the unmistakable horror of modern warfare. Social media became a witness, a platform for unfiltered grief. Public outrage grew with each shared photo, each video clip a testament to the suffering inflicted. The world saw the truth, raw and bleeding. Local medics worked amidst chaos, their faces etched with exhaustion, and with a despair too deep for words. They pulled bodies from the wreckage. They tended to the wounded. Their resources were meager, their task monumental. They fought to save lives. While bombs continued to fall, this was their daily reality. This school was not an isolated incident. On that single Monday, May 26th, health authorities reported 45 fatalities across the besieged Gaza Strip. Each death a separate tragedy, each strike a nail in the coffin of any hope for peace. The violence was relentless, a systematic dismantling of life and of humanity itself. The conflicting claims persisted. Israel's military insisted on its targets, militants hidden among innocents. But survivors and medics painted a different picture, a picture of civilian slaughter. The evidence lay in the rubble, in the small shoes, the school books. Whose truth would prevail, the powerful narrative of a state, or the desperate cries of its victims? This tragedy unfolded against a grim backdrop. The war began on October 7, 2023. Since then, over 53,000 Palestinians killed in Gaza. The numbers numb the mind. Many of them civilians, many of them children, trapped in a narrow strip of land with nowhere safe to run. A relentless campaign of destruction, under the gaze of the world. Aid has become a cruel illusion. Only a few hundred trucks, allowed into Gaza since March 2025. A mere trickle, for over 2 million desperate people. The executive director of the US-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation resigned. He cited an inability to adhere to basic humanitarian principles. The system designed to help failed, or was it designed to fail? The result is a deepening crisis. Food is scarce, water is polluted, medicine is almost non-existent. Humanitarian efforts are choked, logistical challenges are immense, ethical dilemmas paralyze action. Hamas condemned a new aid system, accusing it of engineering starvation, of using food as a weapon, a silent, creeping death. Israel endorsed a new aid plan. The United Nations rejected it. It aimed to use private contractors. It might involve biometric technology to screen for Hamas involvement. This is not aid. This is control. This is another layer of siege. Dignity stripped away, along with the means of survival. Some nations voiced their concern. Sweden announced it would summon Israel's ambassador to discuss the humanitarian catastrophe. Words of condemnation were uttered, diplomatic gestures were made, but the bombs did not stop. The killing continued unabated. Were these merely symbolic acts, empty words against a storm of violence? Israel states its aims clearly: to eliminate Hamas's military capabilities, to regain control over Gaza. These are the declared objectives. The price for these goals is paid. In Palestinian blood, in the shattered lives of civilians, in the rubble of schools and homes. A brutal calculus of power, where humanity is the first casualty. Talk of peace feels like a distant dream. Hamas reportedly agreed to a US truce proposal. It included the release of 10 Israeli hostages. Israel dismissed the proposal outright. A U.S. special envoy then denied that Hamas had agreed to any acceptable terms. The blame game continues. As diplomats talk, people die. The cycle of violence seems unbreakable, fueled by generations of distrust. The tragedy of Gaza endures. Humanitarian efforts face impossible odds. The challenges are overwhelming. The need for a ceasefire is desperate. The path to a just peace is obscured by hatred and by geopolitical games. The school in Gaza City stands as a symbol of innocence lost, of promises broken, and of a world that watches yet fails to act.